In 2026, it is absolutely not just another year on the calendar for WWE. What we're witnessing right now is a massive, high-stakes metamorphosis. As the data floods in, we are seeing an unprecedented era of ruthless business shifts, super aggressive corporate expectations, and some incredibly dramatic creative overhauls. The pressure from the absolute top is actively rewriting the script.
Welcome to The Explainer. I'm your host, and today we're zooming out to look at the sheer scale of WWE's operations in 2026. We're going to unpack exactly how blockbuster media deals, lagging stadium sales, and sudden, shocking talent cuts are creating this giant ripple effect across the entire wrestling empire. If you really want to understand the true business of sports entertainment right now, you have to see how all these pieces connect into one seamless narrative.
Section 1. The Catalyst, a new broadcast era. Okay, let's dive right into this by looking at the foundation of this whole transformation. January was literally a blur. On January 2nd, SmackDown officially expanded to a 3-hour format. Just 3 days later on the 5th, Monday Night Raw celebrated its highly anticipated one-year anniversary on Netflix. But the streaming giant wasn't done there, because on January 6th, Netflix officially became the U.S. home for WWE's entire historical library of premium live events. We're talking WrestleMania, SummerSlam, the whole shebang. And all of this was capped off on January 20th with a Season 2 premiere of the behind-the-scenes documentary series, WWE Unreal. They are aggressively dominating both traditional cable and the streaming frontier. Now, behind the scenes, WWE is actively altering the voices of these broadcasts to fit their new homes. According to backstage industry reports from PW Insider Elite, WWE is totally shaking up the commentary booths. Michael Cole and Corey Graves are reported to be anchoring Monday Night Raw, and why this matters is it gives the flagship brand a very familiar, established feel as it heads into its second year on Netflix. Meanwhile, Friday Night SmackDown, which is now at 3 hours, is reportedly getting a new duo. We're talking veteran ESPN sports broadcaster Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett. It's a deliberate move for sure to give Friday nights a distinct, heavy-hitting sports presentation.
Section 2, the expansion, securing the empire. Because conquering the broadcast world, well, that's really just the starting point.
WWE is making a major play for the interactive entertainment space with WWE 2K26. They aren't just releasing a game here. They are launching a sweeping digital ecosystem. It's available in multiple premium tiers like the King of Kings Edition and the Attitude Era Edition. And the standard game features World Heavyweight Champion CM Punk right on the cover. With 4 new match types and literally the biggest roster in franchise history, they are dominating the virtual ring just as aggressively as the real one.
But wait, the digital expansion definitely doesn't stop at consoles. Consider this new multi-year partnership with VGW. They're an interactive entertainment company focused on online social games. So the crucial point here is that this isn't just some simple logo placement. Nope. VGW is getting direct production time with WWE superstars to create campaigns for a highly engaged U.S. player base. It is a brilliant strategic corporate move to plaster WWE and VGW branding everywhere, from weekly SmackDown episodes all the way to WrestleMania and SummerSlam. And all of this brilliantly illustrates that while they conquered the digital world, the pressure is very much on to pack stadiums in real life. WWE's corporate newswire just announced an incredibly aggressive live event push. They added 10 new live event dates for their summer tour, announced a major return to Mexico with AAA this September, and scheduled the first ever WWE Sunday Night's main event over Labor Day weekend down in Atlanta. They are expanding their footprint absolutely everywhere. Section 3, the reality check, SummerSlam stakes. However, with unprecedented expansion comes ridiculously heavy expectations. Listen to this number for a second. 25,000. That is how many tickets are currently tracking as sold per night for SummerSlam at US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. Remember, it's a 2-night stadium doubleheader, the first one since WrestleMania. But the internal target is reported to be between 40,000 and 50,000 per show. With only a month of runway left, they are tracking at roughly half of their goal. And when stadium sales lag this far behind, the corporate pressure forces creative to change the script immediately.
So as a result, WWE is actively panic booking a loaded card incredibly early just to move those remaining 25,000 tickets. They announced 3 massive marquee matches within days of Night of Champions. This isn't a coincidence, guys. It's a calculated sales strategy targeting entirely different buyers. You've got Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight title, leaning heavily on their unfinished business. You've got Liv Morgan versus Io Sky for some quick retribution. And then you have the absolute heavyweight clash of Brock Lesnar versus Obata Femi inside Hell in a Cell. But seriously, look closely at that last match. Why did Opa Femi suddenly surrender his guaranteed King of the Ring title opportunity? The answer is pure box office desperation. WWE is deploying one of its most reliable heavy-hitting gimmick attractions, a Hell in a Cell rubber match to settle a one-on-one rivalry with Lesnar, specifically to rescue those lagging sales. Femi trading his hard-earned title shot for this match shows you exactly how much weight the company is putting on this specific bout to draw a huge crowd in Minneapolis. Which brings us to Section 4, the fallout. TKO's roster purge. Because the pressure to meet financial targets isn't just affecting storylines, it has profound, real-world human costs. Following WrestleMania 42, the wrestling world was completely rocked by a massive wave of roster cuts. The annual post-WrestleMania purge was brutal this year, sparing neither main roster veterans nor rising NXT prospects. Major names like Aleister Black, Zelina Vega, and Bo Dallas, who of course portrayed Uncle Howdy, were let go right alongside developmental talents like Andre Chase and Malik Blade. The sheer volume of this purge represents a really stark shift in how the roster is being managed. And the reality of who is actually making these decisions, it's pretty chilling. Zelina Vega shared her experience on a Twitch stream, stating, "This time it said TKO 509 is when I got the call." This paints a very clear picture of the new era WWE operates in. These aren't just creative decisions made by wrestling bookers anymore. These are corporate reductions handed down directly from the parent company, TKO Group Holdings. But, the reality behind these individual departures really varies. Just look at the contrast here. On one side, you have Bo Dallas issuing a heartbreaking thank you to his Wyatt Six faction for dedicating themselves to honoring the legacies of the late Bray Wyatt and Brody Lee. It was a deeply personal project completely cut short by corporate restructuring. On Heather's side, reports indicate that Kairi Sane's release, which sparked widespread support online, was actually granted because she requested to move back to her home country of Japan. So it's a really complex mix of ruthless corporate cuts and deeply personal life choices.
Section 5. The War Room. Creative Chaos. So how on earth does the company move forward with a much thinner roster and mounting pressure? Let's step away from the confirmed corporate facts for a second and into the backstage rumor mill to look at the creative battles shaping the rest of the year. We've got a bombshell, unconfirmed report from WrestleVotes highlighting some serious internal chaos regarding one of WWE's top factions. Now that the Seth Rollins storyline is concluded, what exactly is the future of the Vision? Well, according to these backstage reports, WWE management is completely split. One camp wants to reimagine the faction with fresh members, while another camp firmly believes the group has run its course and the members should just be allowed to go their separate ways. But regardless of what happens to the stable, one major detail seems pretty much locked in. Reports strongly indicate that Paul Heyman is going to permanently stay by Braun Breaker's side. Internally, WWE views this pairing as an absolutely vital, long-term solo project. Whether he has a faction around him or not, Breaker is being heavily positioned as a central pillar of the company's future. And finally, we absolutely have to look at how external pressures are constantly forcing WWE to rewrite their plans on the fly. It's not just internal debates, guys. Real-world medical issues like Eli Hodel Vikingo's knee injury have totally stalled the highly anticipated AAL Lucha Libre crossover storyline. Furthermore, television partners are literally dictating the action. ESPN reportedly directly requested extra matches to be added to the Night of Champions card. Why? Because the first hour airs free on traditional ESPN, while the rest is paid on ESPN+. So a deeper, longer card is a deliberate strategy to drive those paid streaming subscriptions. The tail is truly wagging the dog here. Which leaves us with the ultimate question as we watch all of 2026 unfold. With streaming deals rewriting the rulebook, live event targets pushing totally desperate booking, and corporate overlords trimming the roster from the top down, will this unprecedented metamorphosis successfully build an unstoppable global dynasty? Or will the creative and the talent crack under the sheer weight of these immense box office expectations? What you should really take away from all this is that every single match, every release, and every broadcast change is deeply, deeply connected to the bottom line. Thank you so much for watching this explainer. If you want to keep tracking how these high-stakes corporate shifts and backstage reports unfold into on-screen reality, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. Stay tuned, because the business of WWE has quite literally never been this wild, and we'll be right here to break it all down for you. See you next time.